What do you think about people like me who are willing to pay for anything?
You're the reason why the world has so much problems right now. Episode we talked about moving into Amsterdam, right? This week got my BSN.
Ooh, that's nice. And
quite nice.
Your BSN, I heard there was quite a bit of how should I say this? A bit of bureaucracy to get that sorted out.
Yeah, and it's not even fully completed yet. So I got the birth certificate and translation, right?
Correct.
Apparently, I need to legalize birth certificate.
Yeah.
So when you mean legalize, it means that you have to get a chop from the Embassy of Netherlands in Malaysia. So you can't do it in Netherlands. Yeah, I've got that all sorted out. A lot of hassle.
Really? That's really odd that you had to do that.
Yeah, it's one of the most expensive chop ever. Just to get the one chop on your birth certificate. Yeah. Yeah, the whole journey is that. So I get my parents to get a new birth certificate in Malaysia since they are there. So once you get the birth certificate, you need to travel to the Malaysia Foreign Office to get certified there. And then you need to show up in the Netherlands Embassy in Kuala Lumpur to get another chop. And you need to come back again the next day to collect the chop.
That's insane. That's so much hassle.
Yeah, just to prove that who my parents are.
Yeah. But I'm hoping at least now that you've done this, there should be like in the future, if you ever need to have this birth certificate for any purpose, at least now you have it translated and legalized. So you're all sorted. And even when I was here getting my BSN, I don't think they asked for my birth certificate.
It's a new requirement, right? For some reason. Oh well.
Yeah, but at least now you got it. You're all sorted now.
And I inaugurate myself with a Museumkaart.
Oh, nice. I saw you already went to the Rai Museum, huh? So you're really using the card straight away.
Yeah.
Nice. Good work.
I follow one of our colleagues' advice is that you can get a physical one in person.
Okay.
If you buy online, you have to wait for it to deliver to you, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. But if you get the temporary one, which means that you can just show up and they give you a temporary one, then immediately you can use it.
Ah, I didn't know that. I had to wait for my Museumkaart, yeah. But it's not that long, just a few days. But yeah, I'm happy you got it, yeah. And you've already used it at the Thai Museum, yeah?
When people was asking about like, oh yeah, so you got your Museumkaart, so which museum you're gonna go to? I'm like, should start with the biggest of all, right?
Nice.
The one in the heart of Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So speaking of subscription...
That's your segue into this topic, huh? Nice. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of subscription, so we're gonna talk about streaming services today. So for Adam, I think he recently subscribed to Disney Plus, right?
Yoo-hoo! Yes, Disney Plus. So I am subscribed to Disney Plus right now. I am on a self-made 1-month trial, you could say. And I got started on it because I wanted to watch some Pixar movies on it. And then I realized that Disney Plus also has Nat Geo. What I love the most on Nat Geo is Air Crash Investigation. But then what I saw, I was checking out what other things Nat Geo has. They have this TV series called Ice Road Rescue. And I'm a sucker for this TV show. It's really like, it's basically tow truck drivers saving stuck trucks in Norway. I love watching it. And the two things that I watch on Disney Plus.
So it's like a TV reality show on saving truck drivers stranded in the middle of nowhere?
Correct, yeah. It's a reality TV show that follows tow truck drivers in Norway getting calls from people who are stuck on the mountain roads, and they go there and they save the trucks.
Oh, man. This comes back to your obsession with Euro Truck Simulator, eh?
I guess it is a bit of a recurring theme, trucks.
Is it Disney Plus exclusive, or is something in Nat Geo?
I don't know, to be honest.
For quite some time?
I don't know, to be honest. I haven't really... I haven't explored where else I can stream Ice Road Rescue. Of course, there are always illegal options, but I'm kind of in a phase where if I can't get it legally, I'm not going to bother at all. So yeah, I'm happy that Nat Geo has Ice Road Rescue and Air Crash Investigation.
Right.
And the cool thing is, on the Apple TV, you can sort of connect their content to the main Apple TV app. So now when I open the Apple TV app, I get Disney Plus recommendations and I get my personal movies that I've bought on my Apple account. So that becomes like a single hub of all my content, which is quite handy, and I like that.
All right. But have you tried the standalone Disney Plus app? in the Apple TV?
Yep, I primarily use the standalone Disney Plus app.
Uh,
It's okay. So that's quite new. I still have a Netflix subscription, which I don't really use. But I know Drive to Survive is coming, season 4.
Yeah,
So
boy.
that's definitely something that I'm going to be watching on Netflix.
March 11th.
On Apple TV, on iTunes as well, I have some movies that I've bought and I've rented. So I don't know if I guess you consider that a streaming service as well, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to watch the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy, basically. And they had it on Apple TV. And I was like, yep, I'm buying all 6 movies. Yeah, Lord of the Rings plus Hobbit. I bought them all as a bundle and now I have it. I also watched Inception on Apple TV. Yeah.
You know, those movies are available on Netflix, right?
I only found out that Inception is available on Netflix after I bought them on Apple TV. So that was a bit of a waste. But yeah, it's okay, I also bought Dune on Apple TV. That I'm pretty sure you can't get on Netflix yet.
Yeah. Wow. Dune is out already. That's surprising. All right. But you get the 4K version, right?
Yeah, but my TV doesn't support 4K. So in principle, once I upgrade my TV to a 4K TV, then yes, I can watch these movies in 4K. And they come with some extras as well, like Inception and Dune. There's like some extra behind the scenes footage thingies. So it's kind of nice.
So currently you have Spotify, YouTube Premium, and Netflix, and now Disney Plus. So there's 4 different subscriptions for different entertainment streaming services, right?
But of course, the granddaddy of all is YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
That's the one I use the most. That's the most controversial one, apparently. But that's the one I love the most.
But for YouTube Premium, right, I know they used to have original content. They call it YouTube Red. Do you manage to explore any content on YouTube Red before?
No idea. I don't watch original content on YouTube. I don't watch original content on Apple TV. I just use YouTube Premium to get rid of the ads, really.
Because I remember you mentioning like one of the reasons you subscribe to YouTube Premium is that some F1 contents are exclusively for YouTube Premium members. Is that the case?
No, I don't think that's the case. All of the content that I watch is not exclusive to Premium. Those are my streaming services then. What about you, Morgan? What do you pay for?
Currently, I'm paying for Spotify and Netflix. I think that's about it. Back in Malaysia, I used to have Disney Plus and HBO Go.
Oh, in Malaysia you had that?
Yeah, because my parents is subscribed to Astro, and Astro is like your cable network in Malaysia. And once you subscribe to that, they offer little perks like this. So you got your Disney Plus, HBO Go. Yeah.
How was since it's Disney Plus in Malaysia? Did you get like all the Pixar movies as well? Did you get like Nat Geo?
Yeah, everything. For Disney Plus, I think should be the same. But in Malaysia, I'm not sure why they market it as Disney Hotstar.
What? Disney Hotstar?
Yeah. I don't know why they rebrand that in Southeast Asia. They call it Disney Hotstar rather than Disney Plus. But I think it's essentially the same thing. HBO Go, I think it's like your baby HBO Max. So not all the content are there. But I think...
what were you watching on HBO Go?
What do I watch on HBO Go? You have a lot of... So Disney has all the Marvel stuff, right? So for HBO, they have all the DC stuff with Batman, Superman, Justice League. So you have all of that over there. Then HBO, you got your Game of Thrones. You got your...
of course,
Game of Thrones. I think Westworld isn't there. Westworld, not sure whether you watched it. It's sci-fi western. It's kind of interesting. It's written by Christopher Nolan's brother, Jonathan Nolan. So you can see like Christopher Nolan's, I think after Interstellar, a lot of his script quality dropped off because his brother wasn't involved anymore. Because mostly for a lot of movies that Christopher Nolan directed, the screenplay is written by his brother. So now he's preoccupied with this new TV series called Westworld. And yeah, you can see a stark difference.
Interesting. I see. So that's what you watch on HBO. What about Disney Plus? What were you watching there?
Well, if I can sum it up, it's 2 words. Star Wars, man.
Oh, yeah. Star Wars. Wait, the movies or the TV series? Or I don't really know.
Man. Everything, man.
Oh, yeah. Because when I open Disney Plus now, I see like there's the Boba Fett thing and like Mandalorian, I guess, is there as well. Okay, so the entire Star Wars universe is there in Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
I actually wanted to watch Star Wars animated series, the Clone Wars animated series. I think there are 7 seasons, right? It's actually very difficult to watch it before Disney Plus.
Because
Even if you want to watch it legally, you want to watch it illegally, both of them are quite difficult to get it. And Disney Plus just offered me to watch through all the 7 seasons. So it's one of the few things I did before I came to Netherlands, because I know that I wouldn't able to get my Disney Plus Malaysia account to work here unless I VPN back to Malaysia. And that's
or you sign up for a Dutch account.
yeah.
Expensive, huh?
Nah, in principle, I would never want to pay for Disney Plus.
Wow, how is this fair, Morgan? How can you want to watch the content on the platform yet not want to pay for it?
I felt like Disney is being what YouTube is being. It's how to say? I think Disney is the same position as YouTube. They have all the content and they want to, I don't know, bully people into getting higher rates. And I felt like Disney is too powerful. Like you see, Disney bought over Fox, right? So basically, yeah, they own virtually everything. Like National Geographic is part of Disney right now. The whole of Marvel, the whole of Star Wars. And yeah, I wouldn't want to live in a world where I have 5 different streaming subscriptions to watch content. Like for example, I have Netflix for my Netflix stuff. Then I have Disney for my Star Wars stuff. And I would have Paramount for my Star Trek stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't want to live in a world where I need to pay 5 different streaming services. I don't know. It's a very different. I think there's a change in consumer behavior. Like last time where you used to, like for example, you buy the Lord of the Rings trilogy, right? So you buy, let's say, how much you bought it? 40 USD for the trilogy?
Well, that sounds about right. Yeah, I honestly I didn't check. I just I was not in a state where I was looking at prices.
So, for example, you pay once and you own that movie forever. So there's no like if you decided to I don't know, don't watch it anymore and you come back again in 2 years time, the movie is still there because technically you own that movie. Then streaming services just like even you don't want to watch it, you still have to pay for it.
Yeah, like I kind of experienced the same in the music world because I remember there was one day where Spotify went down, and that made me realize that I don't own any of this music that I listen to. I'm always streaming it 24/7. I have it downloaded offline, sure, but if Spotify disappears, all of this music disappears with it. And that was a bit of a realization because it's different. Like you said, as a kid, I would own like games, I would own the CDs. Music, I would own the CDs. Movies, I would have the VHS tape or eventually the DVD or VCD. I forgot VCDs. But nowadays, I don't own any of this stuff that I watch. That is a big change in terms of consumer behavior.
Like going back to the topic where I feel like in principle, I don't want to contribute to this, a new subscription just in order to consume a different kind of content. Yeah. And I felt like there's different ways to support the content you like. For example, I like Star Wars. Doesn't necessarily means that I have to subscribe to Disney Plus, right? I can watch in the cinemas. I can buy merchandise. I could consume Star Wars in another way that doesn't necessarily has to be like, oh, if you support Star Wars, you have to subscribe to Disney Plus. I felt like that shouldn't be the way.
I think we were a bit spoiled by Netflix because when Netflix showed up, it gave a lot of people the sort of the promise that, oh, Netflix is going to be the single platform where you stream everything. If it's not on Netflix, it's not worth watching. And then other companies realized that, hey, this is actually a business we can get into. And now you have Netflix, you have, Disney Plus, HBO Go. I don't even know what else is out there. And there's some competition in the market. And I understand the refusal to want to subscribe to 5 services because you want to, because that doesn't make sense.
So you talk about streaming services where Netflix has everything, right? And now you feel like they kind of monopolize the market. That's why you have new contenders coming in, right? Why don't you feel the same for Spotify? So there's different music streaming services, right? You got your Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Spotify. So in the music streaming services industry, it doesn't matter which services you go to. Because, for example, you like to listen to Beatles, like to listen to some Taiwanese pop music, you can able to find them in both Apple Music and Spotify.
Most of the time.
Like you wouldn't worry about content when you're switching between services, right? But
It
when
depends on the band as well.
but it's not as stark as the movie streaming services.
Correct. That is definitely true.
You see the major difference, right? Like, oh, I can only consume Star Wars content in Disney Plus. I can only consume Drive to Survive in Netflix. Where in Spotify, if I want to listen to Jay Chow, I can listen to Jay Chow. Then Spotify, I can listen to Jay Chow, and Apple Music. Yeah, I feel like
Well, in my world, at one point, I was subscribed to both Spotify and Apple Music. There was a band that I wanted to listen to, and they only had their content on Apple Music and not on Spotify. That was very annoying because I wanted to have everything on Spotify. But, yeah, I understand. I had some hesitation about subscribing to two services, which for 99% of the content is available on both platforms. So just because of this one band that I really wanted to listen to, I had to subscribe to Apple Music. I found that very annoying, yes. But yeah, I'm much more okay with that because I feel like this band made the decision to not have their content on Spotify. And if I want to listen to that content, okay, I will have to pay what I need to pay to listen to it.
But the question, Adam, you have the choice to buy the album digitally and you can own the music without subscribing to Apple Music, right? So you have that option. So for example, like you can still subscribe to Spotify, but I don't know, you feel in the mood of listening to that band that wasn't available, you can just buy their music. And actually, when you buy their music, they're actually getting a higher percentage compared with just streaming their music. So if you really want to support your band, you should buy their albums rather than streaming for it. Right.
So this reminds me of my third music platform, Bandcamp. I also have a Bandcamp account and I do pay for content that I really like on Bandcamp that I cannot find on Spotify or Apple Music.
Interesting. I do have a Bandcamp account as well.
Yeah. I don't really use it as much. I'm happy to pay for these things, I'm quite. I guess I'm exactly the consumer that all of these companies love, Like, this guy will pay for anything. But but I completely understand, like not wanting to have 5 different, like you don't want to pay for 5 different platforms to watch your content. I find it annoying as well that I need to pay for Netflix, Disney Plus. Sometimes if they're not there, then at the iTunes store. I wish there was one solution for everything.
It's called PirateBay.org.
It's just like shopping in real life. I mean, it's just like real life, when you want to buy groceries. There are different grocery chains have different products. And in my world, this is just kind of life, It's wishful thinking to want to have everything in one platform. But the reality is that competition needs to exist. If not, you just get monopolies. I don't think that that's better. I agree that it's not nice to have 5 different streaming platforms, but yeah, monopolies aren't great either.
But you're okay with music services. So if music services started to behave more like Disney Plus and Netflix, where you have exclusive content, would you be okay with that?
I'll be annoyed because for me, music is a bit different because I usually, when we talk about movies or TV series, it's like 2 hours long, 30 minutes. My music is much shorter and I listen to music a lot of the time. And I like to have one giant playlist of all the music that I like. And I would love to have that on one platform. If that is split up into different platforms, it will be annoying for me. And I will try and find a way to make it so that there's one single place where I can listen to everything. But, if it really does happen, I'll be okay with it. I'll try to stick to one platform. But yeah. I feel like there's no option, It's like if they decide to do it as a consumer, what am I going to... Sure, I can send an angry email and say, hey, I wish you had this content again. But yeah, if it's actually happening, there's nothing I can do about it. I just need to decide if I want to pay for it or not.
Oh, no. You're the
reason. No, what's up with the no?
You are the reason why we have 8 different streaming services soon.
That's what I said just now. I'm exactly the consumer that these companies love.
Yeah, like you don't mind paying extra. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, if they take it away, if my favorite band leaves Spotify, what are my options?
Buy their albums, right?
Okay, yeah, that is always an option. Yeah, buy their albums. Yeah. I can't get it on Spotify. I know Spotify. I don't know whether they've changed it. They have this like manual sync thing, but that feels so like finicky. That feels so like a third-party solution,
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
For example, the air crash investigation, right, on National Geographic. There's no option for you to buy them, right?
Yeah, which is super annoying. Yeah. I find it insanely, it's like awful, like I want to watch your content. I'm willing to pay for it. My credit card is out. Just tell me where to pay. but I don't have anywhere to buy it. And then Disney Plus shows up and says, oh yeah, you can watch it on Disney Plus. And I'm
But
like, yeah,
but
sure, I want to watch it.
but only on Disney Plus. You can't buy it. Like for example, if one day you don't want to pay for Disney Plus, or Disney Plus decided to leave Netherlands, then you are not able to watch that content anymore.
I'm screwed, yeah. So my
Yeah.
options are either then to watch it illegally, which I don't prefer right now, or
Yeah.
to physically buy the DVDs, which I can do that, but I can't watch DVDs. So yeah, when I'm put in that situation, I don't have any other options. I haven't watched iCrash Investigation in a while now because there's no way to watch it. Yes, it frustrates me, but what can I do? I don't see any other option.
All right. So you have been subscribing to Disney Plus for a month now, right?
It's probably more than a month now.
Would you still continue to subscribe to Disney Plus?
Very good question.
Yeah, because from how you frame it in the beginning was that you want to give Disney Plus a try, right?
Once I've consumed all of my Ice Road Rescue and all of my iCash Investigation, I will probably not continue Disney Plus.
All right.
However, all of these Pixar movies that I've never seen and the movies that everyone tells me I need to watch, like Monsters Inc., Ratatouille, I've never watched these movies. And
You gotta be kidding me, man. What the hell? This is more controversial than YouTube. Bloody hell. You never watched Monster Inc.?
no, I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't watch movies, period.
Oh, God. Where have...
I just watched Inception about 2 months
Nah,
ago.
Inception is fine. Inception is fine. It's more like Pixar. Oh, man. It's like
I'm only
saying
watching
like
Lord of the Rings now, Morgan. And honestly, I didn't know there were 3 Lord of the Rings movies. I thought it was one
no.
movie.
Wait until Jason hears about it.
I'm embarrassed to say this, but when I was buying Lord of the Rings, I was like, why are there 3 movies? Oh. I don't watch a lot of movies. So I've never watched Ratatouille, never watched Monsters Inc. I don't know whether these are available on Netflix or not.
It used to be until Disney Plus comes along and takes everything away.
So in this situation, I feel like, yeah, if I want to watch Ratatouille and I want to watch Monsters Inc., I will pay for Disney Plus because, yeah, that is where I can get it. And I also feel, well, you know, of course, the movies are made because they want to make money off of me from this movie. Yeah, I guess Disney owns the movie right now. Yeah, Disney gets my money.
All right. If you haven't watched much of Pixar films before, I think like you'll find it very you have everything all in one place in Disney Plus. You even have some Disney Plus exclusive Pixar content. I think I saw a few like Monster Inc. They got a spin-off TV series that is only exclusive on Disney Plus, right? I haven't watched it yet. You can tell me about it if you watch it one day.
So this whole journey on Disney Plus actually started because I was with my girlfriend and she started putting on the movie Soul, which is a Pixar movie. And I loved it. Have you seen Soul?
Yep.
Oh my God. I cried so many times watching that movie. It spoke to me so, like it spoke straight to the heart, you know, like straight to the heart. And like, I cried in the middle of it. I cried after watching it. And I think for me, what really struck me was that their visualization of people in depression was so truthful. And I felt that that message was conveyed really well in the movie. And the whole message in the movie about how I do nowadays when I go about my life, I think the best way for me to live life if I'm jazzing all the time. And you know how that in the movie how when people jazz and they get into this like blue bubble and they forget about the world. I want to be jazzing all the time. And I think that's the best way to live life. And for me personally, that also spoke to me a lot because that guy plays the piano, and when he plays piano, he jazzes into his own world. For me, that's a guitar. I play the guitar and I forget about the world and I disappear. So I could relate a lot to that movie. And I loved it. And from there, I was like, oh, wow, Pixar movies are amazing. And I want to watch more Pixar movies. I've watched Up, which I believe is also a Pixar movie, right?
Yeah,
Up,
it is.
Amazing. It's been too long ago, though. I don't remember. Inside Out as well, I believe, which is also a Pixar movie. I've seen about 80% of that. I thought it was really good as well.
So what happened to the remaining 20%? Because the plane landed, right? You watch it on a plane, right?
I don't remember where I watched it, but I love that show. The plane landed. So it might have been on the plane, yeah. I don't think I've seen all of Inside Out, but I've watched most of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's how I got started on Disney Plus. And then I found out there's iCrash Investigation and there's Ice Road Rescue. And I'm a sucker for Nat Geo, you know. Like all of these like Discovery Channel, Science Channel, Nat Geo. As a kid,
Yep.
this would be like my favorite shows, my favorite channels. And I'm just a sucker for like shows that they have, like history shows or like architecture, construction. Basically, if you watch my YouTube subscription list, it doesn't look that far off from Nat Geo. Yeah.
All right. I see.
So, but what is your stance here? Like, if you refuse to pay for these services, do you actively
Yeah.
believe that you will actually prevent further separation?
Well,
Do you believe that your refusal to pay for Disney Plus will actually lead to one day Disney content going back into Netflix?
no, it's more like this. It's more like the fundamental thing to say is always vote by your wallet, right? So I feel like Disney is doing this just because they can squeeze more money out of it. And Disney it's gobbled up a lot of companies, a lot of studios, and it feels like they are buying their way into dominating the market rather than actually want to provide a better streaming service. So coming from a Netflix subscriber, right? Do you feel like the user experience on Netflix and Disney Plus is very
They're
different?
exactly the same. They're both streaming services.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Disney Plus, Netflix, Apple, like iTunes, it's all the same.
No, the UX
The
perspective.
UX perspective. I do think Netflix is better at reminding me of shows that I haven't finished watching and recommending more relevant shows. But I also think that's because I've spent more time on Netflix than on Disney Plus. One thing I don't like about the Disney Plus app is that it never tells me to continue watching the last episode of Ice Road Rescue. I always have to go into my watch list, click on it, and then say continue from this point. Which is annoying. But
I have the same feeling as well. Do you believe or not? I actually have an
do
article
you?
about it.
Okay.
It's actually an article that I collaborate with my previous company to write kind of like a design audit comparing different user experience between Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Go. So here inside, we talk about how different UX approaches about how Netflix recommended stuff, how easy to search stuff, how different streaming services recommend stuff, and in terms of features like continue listening, how they categorize their films, and it's all cataloged in this article. One thing I have to say about Disney Plus is that they have a lot of content. In terms of content quality and in terms of content variety, like in terms of you have a lot of family shows, you have a lot of action shows, you have a lot of popular franchises. But I feel like Netflix did a better job to get you to watch stuff, get you to discover new content to watch, where Disney Plus is always tucked away. So just now you brought a point that once you finish Air Crash Investigation and Ice Road Rescue, there's no more content that you will want to consume. And I feel like that's a let down from Disney's side. It's like they don't provide that user experience that lets you discover new movies. So it's kind of like a rush job, I would say, for Disney Plus, where they just want to own the content, stream the content, and make you pay for the content. Where Netflix put the time and effort to try to recommend you different movies, try to curate on what kind of music would intrigue you, something like that. It's like Spotify's Discovery Weekly. Yeah, that's the reason why Spotify, like people like Spotify, not because of the song choices they have. It's more like the recommended algorithm that helps you discover new music. Yeah. I feel like one thing that differentiates between Netflix and Disney Plus is the user experience.
Yeah. I think it also highlights a different kind of consumers here because I don't use Spotify to discover weekly. I use Spotify because I want a streaming platform to listen to my music. And I pay for Disney Plus because, I happen to have a series that I want to watch and it's available on it. So, sure, I'll pay it so that I can watch it. And like Netflix is really good at recommending you content to watch at. But, that's also because they want to keep you using their services because they want to make money off you. At the end of the day, all of these companies want to make money off you. And you could argue Netflix is doing a better job at it. And what does that mean? That's a better platform then? Because they're better at keeping you on the platform to make more money off you? Is that the takeaway here?
I think the point is not making money. The point is keep yourself entertained, right? Or like, I like to subscribe to Netflix because they always have different movies that they know what I like. Like, so I never have to run out of movies to watch, or I never have to run out of shows to watch.
Okay.
Where in Disney Plus is like, you want Star Wars, here's the only place. And actually, Disney also have their own marketing way to keep you tuned into Disney Plus. So if you notice how Disney and Netflix release their TV series a bit differently. So Netflix is like, okay, March 11th, Drive to Survive season 4, everything's gonna be out in March 11th. So technically you can subscribe to Netflix for 1 month, watch everything on March 11th, and you can just turn off your subscription, right? Yeah, you can do that, right?
Yep.
Netflix doesn't stop you from
But
doing
let me
that.
guess,
But for
Disney Plus does week by week.
Yeah, so they want to keep you in the long game. Like, sure, you can wait until everything is released, then you can
That's
watch it
annoying.
one shot. But do you have the willpower to do that?
That's really annoying, yeah.
Yeah, so the argument shouldn't be like, oh, because Netflix is better making money than Disney Plus. I feel like both of them have the same goal, just that different ways of achieving it, I would say.
I genuinely believe that Netflix had to do that to offer like an edge of the competition. And now they cannot go back to doing things week by week anymore because then the backlash would be too big. So they kind of have to stick with this principle that they've made, which is to always release an entire season straight away, which I'm a huge fan of because then I can consume the content as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think it's a different strategy where Netflix, they know that if they release everything in one day, you will still have a lot of, because of the recommendation algorithm, you will always have things to watch. You will never run out of things to watch, even though you can watch everything in one day. Where
and it promotes virality as well.
If Disney Plus release everything in one day, I think people will just subscribe 1 month, watch everything and stop because Disney recommendation algorithm is not there. Oh, have you
I've skimmed through the
read the article? Yeah?
I can see that it's a very thorough, like step by step. You go to different categories, you go to different. You have laid out the criteria for how to do the review, and then you've actually done the review. So yeah, that's quite good.
And can you see Disney Plus how they lay out their stuff? It's embarrassingly bad. Especially the categories. And I'm like, oh man, this is like a junior developer standard, I would say.
To be honest, yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing the Disney Plus app on the phone. I've only used it on the Apple TV. I've never used the app.
So they're hiding it behind Apple's UX. Yeah.
As a closing note, I want to ask you, how was the storm yesterday for you? Were you outside or were you staying at home?
No, I'm staying at home. But I can see the wind. So since my apartment is beside Slaughter Plus, right? So you can see the waves. It feels like you're in the beach where the waves are like, you can surf on it actually. Yeah, it was really scary. But it reminds me of, this is how storm is in Malaysia. But for half an hour rather than the whole day.
Yeah, but not this windy, right? It's insane. Like on my street, some of the light pillars completely bent over.
Wow.
And this was it was code red, so we weren't kidding around. Like there was proper like storm, stay at home, don't go out sort of thing. So it was really strong winds.
I think one of the reasons why the winds might feel a bit stronger at your side, because you have a lot of tall buildings. So it becomes like a wind tunnel. Would that be the case?
Maybe. But genuinely, like it was 10 Beaufort winds, 120, 130 kilometers an hour. Those are very strong winds. Dude, like flights at Schiphol were only, I think about 20% of flights landed in Schiphol yesterday. A lot of flights were cancelled, a lot of flights didn't land. Trains were cancelled altogether from 2 p.m. onwards. That's how, it was serious, it wasn't, we weren't kidding around.
Well, I feel like how Netherlands handle stuff like this and how Malaysia handle stuff like this is very different. Like in Netherlands, like you got warnings, you get advice, you get like, oh yeah, stay at home today and the weather's going to be really bad and we expect from 2 o'clock things are going to be really bad and trains are going to be cancelled, so make plans ahead, stuff like that. Where in Malaysia, it's always like, hey man, look at this cool video in Twitter about the storm just now. And then the government will show up like, oh yeah, like that's a terrible storm, so this is some financial aid and all that stuff. So it's very reactive compared to how Netherlands does it proactively.
That does make me wonder a lot. Like, is it like in Malaysia, do we not have the technology or the skills to be able to detect in advance these storms that happen? I know flash floods, by definition, there are floods that you don't expect, but like I would expect in Malaysia where it's quite normal that we would eventually have the technology or the capability to predict these in the future. What is the problem here? Is it that we really cannot know ahead in advance, or we just don't have the skills and technology for it?
My gut feeling is that Malaysia is in a tropical climate, so the weather is more volatile. In short bursts, like for example, like just now how I described is that we got a storm like this for half an hour and that's it.
Yeah.
Where here, when you have storm, like you really
If
have
that's your
storm.
gut feeling, then Morgan,
Yeah.
do you not feel that it's wrong to criticize and say it's a very reactive approach because you simply cannot predict it? Therefore, the reactive approach is sort of the only thing you can do.
It's different. Like for example, monsoon season is constant,
Yeah.
and there should be I don't know, preparations and measures taken because it's the monsoon season. You're gonna expect more rain in the east coast or the west coast. Although yes, you can't predict like 2 o'clock today you're gonna have big rains, but there should always be a response team versus like too bad. Yesterday flooded and there's nothing much we can do about it. Yeah.
I genuinely want on this podcast, maybe we need to get a weather expert from Malaysia to really tell us. Because I've always, ever since I moved to Europe, it makes you realize, the weather is predictable. You can know when it's going to rain. You can know what if it's going to be windy or sunny. But why couldn't we have that information in Malaysia? Am I just not looking well enough? Is the information already there, or is it simply impossible to know?
Well, if you guys know any, meteorologists in Malaysia, hit us up on Twitter and we'll try to contact and hopefully can get them on our future episodes.
I would love it if any of you know a meteorologist in Malaysia. I would want to talk to somebody who knows this. I've got so many questions. Yeah.
Questions.
So streaming services, a polarizing topic where people have quite strong opinions about it. I feel like I'm very much on one side, and Morgan, you're probably representing another side.
But I do feel like we are in the crossroad. I think like we get to decide whether becoming like is people okay with getting more streaming services, or they are like 3 is the maximum or 2 is the maximum. So I think like as an industry, I think they're trying to test how people respond to it. Are they okay having Disney Plus, having okay with Paramount, CBS, Netflix to consume different content? So yeah, we'll see
how things pan out.
So vote with your wallet. Don't be like Adam. Oh no.
If you like the content, pay for it. That's my approach.
Yeah, the best way to support creators or musicians or movie directors directly is always buying them straight rather than streaming it where they get a fraction of whatever it is in your subscription services. So yeah, always buy it from them directly.
Speaking of which, we are launching our own merchandise very soon. Morgan is working hard on it. So once we have our own merchandise, please buy our merchandise.
Yeah, future plan, right? Once we hit 300 listens per episode.
Yeah, for sure, dude. We should do like a t-shirt or something.
Yeah, that's some plan. That's a way to go.
Anyway, it was nice to chat about this. Really interesting topic, and looking forward to next time.
So, if you like what we have and would like to support us, you can follow us on Twitter. That's Rojak Tech Pod, ROJAK Tech POD. So that's Rojak Tech Pod, and sometimes we push updates on our Twitter, and you can get our latest news over there. I'll catch you soon.
Catch you soon, Morgan. Tot later, doei!